In terms of the BCA, I remember the primary goal there was to reduce the deficit by about $2.1 trillion. We did, by the way, get more than $600 billion tax increase, the fiscal cliff, so I think we've got that balance that people talk about, and not balance I particularly agree with. You know, we utilize the word investment a lot, I think pretty loosely. Coming from the private sector, I utilize the word investment as, you know, hard infrastructure spending, you know, things that we're going to last a long period of time. So that's certainly, in government, we've got bridges and roads, that's hard infrastructure. We've got other investment, I suppose you can make the argument that will have long-term implications, things like in education. And then you have just basic consumption. The question I have, and I don't want a real philosophical argument, but just a basic percentage or number, does anybody know out of a $3.6 trillion a year budget, what would you call investment out of there? Dr. Summers.
I'd have to study it. It's certainly less than half.
It's way less. I mean, don't we have basically 2/3 of our budget is mandatory spending, entitlement spending, which basically consumption. So you've maybe got $1 trillion of discretionary spending. How much of the $1 trillion would be investment?
That was really what I was really addressing. I misunderstood your question, and I was addressing the discretionary spending. But I think it's
so. First of all, you agree 2/3 is already consumption. So, you know, pretty much all. I
don't know how to think about. I think of national defense as an investment in keeping the country secure.
There again, that's the discretionary, or that's discretionary.
Okay, but I could see how somebody could regard that as not investment in the same sense that a private business would. But I think you're certainly right that most of the entitlement program spending, I don't think would be prudently viewed as investment. Yes, I agree with that.
Dr. Johnson, you've been thinking about this. Do you have a number in terms of, out of $3.6 trillion, how much is really investment? Let's start with the infrastructure. Do you have any idea about infrastructure? I mean, hard roads and bridges, what most Americans would really view as investment.
I think that's a great question, Senator. We're obviously spending some hundreds of billions on investment, including education, which is a critical part of it. But it is a small part of total federal spending, without question. I would stress, though, that what you're running and you're calling consumption is part of social insurance programs. That's not insurance that's readily or was not readily available through the private sector.
By the way, wouldn't that be an automatic stabilizer? You said we don't have very good automatic stabilizers in our economy, but you got 2/3 of the budget that's off budget on automatic pilot. Wouldn't that be an auto stabilizer?
Yes, to some degree it is, but the point is our federal government is, and our government is
that's
smaller.
That's $2.6 trillion worth.
It's smaller than other countries, Senator. That was the point I was making. So we have automatic stabilizers, but it's smaller than, relative to our economy, than it is in other industrialized countries.
Senator,
yeah, no, we just had a release of the Department of Energy in terms of their loan program, their green energy jobs programs, $26 billion of loan guarantees, about 2,300 jobs created, long-term jobs, at a cost of about $11.5 million per job. As economists, do you recognize any difference between the effectiveness of public spending, public investment versus private sector investment? Dr. Summers.
Oh, I don't think there's any question that the private sector is a better venture capitalist than the government. That doesn't mean that there aren't appropriate instances where government can be catalytic and where the private sector won't step up. Government should not take a role, but in general, one would expect in spheres like venture capital that private investment would be much more effective. But if I could just come back on one thing, because I do think it's important to be fair here. Investment, in my dictionary, refers to expenditure today for future benefit. A relative of mine is soon going to undergo heart surgery that offers the prospect of substantial life extension that Medicare is going to pay for. I don't think it would be, I understand why that's quite different from investment as a private sector business would use the term, but I also think it's quite different from consumption as that term is used, and it very much is an expenditure today for future benefit. So I think we have to be a bit careful as we use these categories of consumption and investment, and some of what government does doesn't fit naturally into the private sector concepts of either consumption or investment.
But based on your earlier comment in terms of private sector investment being more effective and efficient than public sector, you'd basically agree with Dr. Firth then that we should really be looking at how do you incentivize private sector and get more of the dollars flowing through the private sector for economic growth, which everybody agrees is the #1 component of a solution here, correct? We need to juice the private sector, the productive sector.
Private sector growth is enormously important, and where we can, at limited cost to the president, to the government, juice substantial private sector investment, we absolutely should. That's why, for example, I worked hard during my time at the NEC to include the provisions that provided for expensing of small business investment in the Economic Recovery Act, and included a number of other provisions
but of course,
directed at spurring private investment. And even, I recognize how controversial they are, and there certainly are legitimate questions that can be raised at them, but even the energy subsidies that you raised, Senator, if you look at those programs, the government money is catalytic, and the amount of total money invested is very substantial, is a significant multiple of the amount of public money invested. So it is exactly juicing the private sector in the sense you suggest. You know, whether those programs are ideally designed, you can certainly, that's certainly a totally legitimate area for
of course, that
debate.
$26 billion came from somewhere. It was taxed out of the private, the more productive sector, and or borrowing, which is, you know, creates all that level of uncertainty because of very bad fiscal policy. So it comes at a huge cost and a very ineffective use of money. Thank you.